Not all processed foods are bad for us. In this video, I will explain what processed foods are and what kinds of processed foods are bad for us, especially for people with chronic pain. So let's talk about processed foods today. Processed food is the term that we use to explain that food is modified from its natural form. The first processed food started thousands of years ago. Just look at the processing of grapes to make wine or the milling of grains to make flour. So, are all these methods of processing food terrible for us? No, not at all. As a physician, I tell my patients to avoid processed food, but I should ask them to avoid ultra-processed foods. So, what is the difference? Well, here are some examples. Let's start with the unprocessed food. These are ideal, and we should try to have more of this. Eggs, raw fruits or vegetables, legumes, onions, garlic, grains, nuts, seeds, meat that you buy from a butcher, and fish that you buy fresh to cook at home. Then these are the minimally processed foods: frozen fruits or vegetables, pasteurized milk, honey, maple syrup, oils, frozen meat or fish, spices like salt, oregano, basil, turmeric. Now we have processed foods. These are things that use natural ingredients, but they are modified. For example, cheese, canned food, bacon, salted nuts, cold cuts like the ones we find in deli shops, fermented ingredients like vinegar, yeast, sauerkraut, beer, cider, and wine. So you see, the list of processed foods contain modified things, but they offer good options and nutritious ingredients. When you buy cheese, for example, check if it is made from natural ingredients like milk and fungus. And do not buy the ultra-processed imitation of cheese. When you buy canned foods, check the ingredient list and choose things with less salt. Canned fish is a good and affordable alternative to fresh fish. Tofu is considered processed, but it contains protein. It is a processed food that has been around for thousands of years, so the human body can take care of it. What if you don't want to buy processed hummus? You can make your own hummus and dips from raw ingredients like chickpeas, which you can buy in bulk, boil them, and cook at home. And now, the ultra-processed foods. These are the ones that you should avoid altogether. Not only if you have chronic pain, these are highly pro-inflammatory. They increase blood sugars, increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and dementia. Ultra-processed foods are not foods. They resemble food, but they're actually artificially made in food factories. They are engineered to look like food. And because they are not real food, they trick your brain into thinking you need them. They add chemicals to make your brain crave them. These chemicals are very addictive. Do you know what are these chemicals? They are refined sugars, caffeine, trans fats, saturated fats, salt, artificial sweeteners, artificial colors, and preservatives to make it last longer. Ultra-processed food is designed to look pleasing to our eyes. The package is appealing, and they even can say rich in fibers, rich in calcium, or rich in vitamin C. So what are they? You will find the ultra-processed food in most grocery stores in beautiful packages, appealing colors and large font letters. Have you ever seen a cucumber with an appealing package saying rich in vitamins? Or have you ever seen a lettuce package saying, rich in fibers? Well, be suspicious when you see a package claiming these things. They might have vitamins, fibers, etc., but why would they need to advertise that? It's very likely an ultra-processed food. Here are a few examples of ultra-processed food that is designed to imitate real food. But before I continue, please remember that this video is not medical advice. If you think you have a pain condition, please talk to a healthcare provider. And if there is an emergency, please go to the nearest emergency department or call an ambulance. This video is for educational purposes only. Soft drinks. They are designed in food factories to replace natural beverages like tea, coffee, and fruit juices and water. Margarine is a combination of chemicals that look like butter. Hot dogs are a combination of who knows what to resemble sausages made from real meat. Ice cream is designed to create an addiction to sugars and fat. I know, they are delicious. Instant soups. Breakfast cereals, especially the ones with many colors. Supermarket cakes, supermarket breads, biscuits, cookies, donuts, microwave popcorn. Chips, yes, they can be made from potatoes or corn. Still, there are so many artificial ingredients and unhealthy fats that your body does not notice the benefits of potatoes or the corn. Instant noodles. By the way, anything that says instant, 1 minute, or quick is probably ultra-processed. Meals that are prepared and sold in packages, even frozen ones like frozen pizza. You can see from this list that processed and ultra-processed foods are different. And that's why I say that not all processed foods are bad. So if you love hamburgers like I do, but you don't want to buy the fast food version, you don't want to buy the ones in the supermarket, you want to make at home, you can make it. And it's going to be super healthy because you're going to make it from raw materials, raw meat, with sourdough bread, tomatoes, onions. You can put a lot of lettuce if you want, so it's going to be healthy. I'm going to show you how I make this at home. So the first thing that is super important is the type of bread. The type of bread, I bought this one that is baked in store. So this is a sourdough bread, and it has sesame seeds on the top. It's very fresh, it's made today. And how do you know this is not a processed bread? It's because if I leave this at home, tomorrow it's going to be hard, and 2 days later nobody will eat this anymore. So you know this is the kind of bread that you want for your hamburger. Now the most important ingredient is the meat. I usually buy meat in bulk because you pay less price. You may recognize the store where I bought this today. So it's fresh ground beef. And I usually buy the lean or extra lean ground beef, but it can be any type. And you can also mix beef and pork. And I'm going to use this to make my patties. So I'm going to make 4 patties of 170 grams each. So to know how I like to weight them, so this is 0, and now I put my container here, and then I tear, so now it's 0 here, and then 170 times 4, so it's 340, 680, right? So I need 680 grams here. Oops, almost there. Almost there. Here, I have 697. So you might know that I am from Brazil, and all Brazilians love to put garlic everywhere. So I'm going to put 1 clove in my meat here. So this, just to give a little bit of taste. You don't need to. You can just put some salt and pepper, but I like to mix with garlic. And then the other important ingredient is salt. I always use kosher salt, coarse salt. And for this amount here, I don't know how much is this, but I'm going to put a pinch of salt. I also like to add some fibers. So this is natural wheat that I buy. And I usually put just a amount like this just to add some fibers to my hamburger. So now it's time to start mixing. And here you can put other things if you like. You can put more garlic, oregano, basil, or ketchup. Don't put all of those. You can try different flavors. Like if your family like mustard, you can put some mustard here. If your family likes ketchup, you can put some ketchup here. Any spices that you want. This is the time that you can spice up your ground beef. Okay, so now it's time for us to make our patties. And I already pre-cut some parchment paper so they will not stick on each other. And I use this hamburger press. And I think I bought this on Amazon. I will leave a link for you. I just washed. And I'll leave a link for you if you are interested in buying this hamburger press. It's so good, it's so easy, and makes your life so much easier. It also makes this dimple in the middle of your hamburger so it cooks evenly. So this is how you do it. Just divide. I'm going to make 4 patties. So I'm going to split this more or less into 4 equally. Not that they are competitive, but my family will compare and they will say, well, your hamburger is bigger than mine. So no. So everybody will have the same size of hamburger. So I just cut this in 4. And then I get here 1/4. You put here in this hamburger press. Right, and here. This is the secret, because if you don't press very tightly, when you put on the grill, it is going to open up. So it's not going to be very firm. So you do need to press a lot here. And here is your patty. So the good thing is that there is a spatula underneath. And you see I'm going to put this on my, and you see there's that dimple in the middle. So one is ready. I'm going to put the paper on the other one here. So now this second one. So again, if you want to buy a hamburger press, I think your local store you may find a hamburger press, but I'll put a link on I have an Amazon store, and everything that I mentioned in my videos is there. So here it is, another second patty. Very, very pressed. Here, so that's good. You see it has some grills there, and I'm going to put on the top of this second one. And this is so easy, and this is dishwasher safe, so you don't need to worry about germs or sterilizing this little device, because as you know, ground beef can be contaminated and can get bacteria growing very quickly. So it's not safe. You need to buy the ground beef and do your patties on the same day. If you're not going to grill them all on the same day, what you can do is freeze them. So you can freeze your patties. Like right now, I'm putting them between, this parchment paper here, and they don't stick to each other, and they're going to do very easily on the grill, because if you don't press them, they're going to open up, and it's not going to look nice. So the next step will be the garnishes. We're going to put, and you can put garnishes, anything you want. Cheese, lettuce, tomato. I'm going to put all of those. I really love onions. My hamburgers with onions. My family like with lettuce, tomato, all those things. So here we are. We have our 4 patties ready to go to the grill. So you see, here they are, ready to go to the grill. I have my bread here, and I'm just going to cut some garnishes and then ready to go. Okay, so here it is, everything ready to go to the grill and have a delicious hamburger. So here they are, our hamburgers, easy to make, no maintenance, super easy to put there. We just align them here. Look how beautiful these patties are, and delicious and nutritious. You don't need to worry about any processed or ultra processed ingredient. Let me see, is it time to turn them? Yes. Oh, delicious. You see how easy they are? And it's really important, I always check the temperature. You see, here's the temperature outside is 5 degrees Celsius. Today is very cold. But it's really important to test the internal temperature because it has to be 72 Celsius or 160 Fahrenheit. So we still have a long time. Okay, let's check again. It's time to check. Almost there, 67, almost at 68. So here they are, 4 beautiful hamburgers, and I'm going to make the sandwich now. So here it is, our no guilty hamburger, because it doesn't have processed ingredients. We made it from scratch, raw meat, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, all vegetables that are healthy, sourdough bread that I bought today at the bakery. So this is not processed bread. So you can have a hamburger without any guilt, and it is delicious. It is very worthwhile, delicious, and you can add ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. Really good. Remember, your health is highly dependent on what you eat. Pay attention to what you buy at the grocery store. Learn how to read the label. Don't buy food containing ingredients that your great-grandmother would not recognize. If the package claims many benefits, be suspicious that they are trying to hide something from you. And try to buy less food that comes in packages. It is most likely processed food if you have to open a box to eat it. Ultra-processed foods are readily available, low cost, easy, and quick to prepare. Taste good, your brain loves them, and give you a sense of comfort and pleasure. It is hard to compete with them. Preparing your own meals take time, planning, and cooking skills. The knowledge of doing all of this is getting lost. And if we don't pass this on to our children and grandchildren, they will not know how to eat healthily. And the food industry doesn't want us to know that. I worry about the future generations and what they're going to eat. We need to promote our local farmers and buy fresh ingredients. Otherwise, in the future, humans will only have food sold in boxes to eat. Well, you may download a guide that I prepared. It has a summary of what I teach in this video. Go to the video's description below, find the link, and download it from my website. It's www.drandreafurlan.com/nutrition. Thank you for watching. Bye.